So I'm going to show you how I like to tie a cork hopper with a rubber band for legs. It's pretty simple. I use some wool yarn. This is like an orangish brown one. I've got a little piece of cork that's made out of just like a cork coaster that I kind of shaved down with scissors. Got a like a size 10 streamer hook on there. Got a rubber band. Got some elk hair in my stacker. And I've got a little puff of wool. Alright, so step one, get going with some camel colored 6/0 thread. I like 6/0 because it's everything else I tie with is like 8/0 or thinner. And I don't know, you can just really yank on this, which is important for keeping the cork tight to the hook. Alright, so first things first, I throw my yarn on there. This is another thing that allows the cork to really get some traction onto the hook shank. And I just wrap it pretty evenly. And yeah, sometimes I run out before it gets to the top. That doesn't really bother me. This one's pretty close. Look at that, I didn't waste any. I didn't even have to trim it. Alright, so next I got my hopper body. A little piece of wool. And I've got it overhanging the eye of the hook just a little bit. I like to do just a couple pretty firm ties initially, or a couple of firm wraps around in segments as I go back towards the tip of the hook. And I go back just about as far as I can. And then, you know, the back I'm doing like 3 or 4 wraps, and then I'm adding one. I'm going pretty tight until I get to where I want to throw on my leg, which is about here. Then I take my rubber band, which these are, natural rubber bands, whatever. And I just tie it in, wrap it in, and then I wrap it in at 2 of the segments. And then I'm going to cut this a little haphazardly. I'll tighten up the length a little later. Alright. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this other side, but you'll be able to see better, and I can see less good, less well. Just a couple wraps. I would say a flaw with this design is I end up getting a lot of wraps around that leg section there. Alright, then we've got the legs. They're like really splayed, which I kind of like. And then I'm going to do the shorter front legs, which I start at the front tie of my back legs. And I just go nice and tight. Try to get those guys to stick out pretty straight. I'll show you in a second how straight they are. I gotta adjust this one. Okay, got one side done. Cut it and do the other. Line it up just flat against the other rubber band and the side of the cork. Okay, that's looking pretty freaking good. Cut it. Pull it nice and tight. That way it's sticking out. Alright. Next step is going to be my deer hair, which I'll tie over the front legs here. And I'll go right around to the butt, maybe overlapping it slightly, but pretty much just right over the butt. Get a couple nice wraps on there. trim this. Trim all this. Create a big mess on my tying desk here. Okay. And almost to the end already. We just throw on this, this wool puff here. Just a couple wraps will do that. Alright. Trim the excess on the front. Then just a few whip finishes and a little bit of, I'll do a little bit of adhesive on this guy. I just use like a plant-based UV resin. Of course, it's only, 60% plant-based or something, but whatever. It's the best I seem to be able to do. All right, threw that on there and blast it with my little flashlight. And trim these rear legs. And bam, that's a hopper. Nice simple hopper that splats like nothing else and catches me a lot of fish. Thanks for watching.